I did watch Halloween 2, the
Yes.
original, which, as you know, as I mentioned before, is my favorite Halloween. It's the first one I've seen, and I still love that movie. Um, but a few things I've noticed before, but it didn't really hit me as much was I love in the beginning after Laurie gets, she goes to the hospital.
Yeah.
Here's a woman that was almost killed, witnessed all kinds of craziness, and the doctor only says to her, "When was the last time you had a tetanus shot?" As if she stepped on a nail a week ago, and this was the reason she was losing.
And she's like, I don't know.
I don't know. Do you remember that
Oh
line?
yeah. Oh, I know it. One, somebody put together the amount
All
of
of her
lines that
words.
all of her words in Halloween 2, and it's like I'd have to look up the word count, but it is a ridiculous amount of little words. But one of them is
It's like
like, I don't
38 or
know. Yeah,
something.
yeah. So she had a tough memory
Tough
time to
script.
like.
Another thing, I feel like EMTs get a really bad rap in horror films. Like between this and Friday the 13th, these are trained professionals that save lives, and
Mhm.
this guy's having sex with nurses in the bath thing, and he's smoking weed in the lounge. It's like, come on,
It
that's
was
not gonna happen.
1978. That's what
But
happened.
it's just so funny. He's like, yeah, fuck it. If we get a call, let's go take her clothes off. And then he has the roach clip and he's
Yeah.
openly smoking weed in the
What
staff lounge.
with the nurse that's supposed to be watching the babies. Um,
Right.
yeah, yeah. I always felt like there's some story because like Dr. Loomis blows up the hospital. I'm like, I feel like somebody should superimpose, the shot of the flames going over the whole infant care. Like, way
Yeah.
to go, Dr. Loomis. He's,
Right.
like the next
How
morning is like,
unthoughtful.
I know, Michael kills 3 while a psychotic doctor kills 15, including 10 babies. Uh, that's the real horror of Halloween.
Now, was the nurse, I know Rick Rosenthal met his wife on the set. Was it the nurse that was in the tub?
No, so it was Nurse Marion who she was in the original Halloween, and then
Mm,
she's the one that she's like that literally I'm gonna say ruined the franchise. That girl, that Strode girl, that's
that
Michael
Strode girl.
Myers' sister.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah.
so she's the one, and so now that I should say did as much as I love her, I'm like, did she ruin the franchises twice? Because she, that's her, she created this whole, she didn't, but, she said it, she revealed.
Yeah.
So
She put it
then
in
it
the
became
play.
this whole family thing. And then, as you remember in Halloween Kills, she's the one, but evil dies tonight. And we're like, oh,
Right. Right. She
then she
ruined it
created,
twice.
she ruined the Halloween franchise
She was
twice.
the chick that told him, the sister, she was from like the state or whatever, from the
Yeah.
hospital. The
Yeah.
governor's orders. And I love when he's like,
Yeah.
Loomis is like, what's the first they do? Fire a warning shot? And he's like, let's go. But the marshal's so nonchalant before he's like, yeah, it's right back there. It's
You're
about 3
getting
miles over
yourself in
17.
big trouble here.
You're getting yourself into big trouble, doctor. He doesn't give a he's out. He's unconscious. Or what does he say? He's still alive or
Yeah.
something. He's
Don't you
not
see what he's
breathing.
doing? Yeah. I was like, get away from him. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to point out before my question, though, the sheriff uniform, accuracy
Yeah.
of it. Warren County, on the sheriff, as Warren County Sheriff was, as you know, sheriffs have jurisdiction over a county and they're within, where other movies will put like Millersville Town Sheriff Department, and that's incorrect.
That's right. Yeah.
But Halloween doesn't have, Haddonfield Sheriff or anything. It's the county sheriff
Yeah.
department, which is very accurate. So they did
As
their
they
they did
should.
their homework.
They did, and then obviously they talk about Russellville, and I mean, they kind of created this little town,
Yeah,
But
yeah. No, they created a whole ecosystem.
the
Now, Halloween ends the opening sequence where
yes,
they recreate. That was they played into that in 2 when they're like send more people and canvas the area between Green Street and whatever in Halloween 2. Was that the canvassing they were doing?
I'm not quite sure. So I do know, like when Alice is on the phone, is that what you're talking about? They're like, oh, where the cops are talking is like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're actually, and if I remember right, some of the streets they're talking about are real because I know there's, the house down on Orange Grove, which actually it is. It's Orange Grove, West Hollywood.
Is that really
That's
what they
yeah,
were doing?
that's
Oh,
what
okay.
Alice on the phone should have said. Are you talking about West Hollywood? We're in Haddonfield.
We're in Haddonfield.
That's
So
that's the other side of the country.
that's so funny though that they
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
So that yeah, I do like that they play in other films. And speaking of which, my question is: after they reported that Michael Myers went into the school, and he leaves the
Mhm.
knife on the drawing and everything,
Yeah.
the word Sanheim is on the blackboard, if you remember.
So yeah, so Sam Hain, which is actually pronounced
Sam Hain.
Sawin. Yeah, so Sam Hain, and that's how they pronounce it in the movie. I think it's pronounced Sawin in reality, but yeah,
That's sure, because
yeah,
Celtic doesn't phonetically match up.
no.
Was that I know Halloween's a Celtic origin, but did that play into Halloween Part 3 in any way? Was there like a reason they went that
I
direction?
Yeah, actually they talk about the Festival of Sam Hain. Conal Cochran does talk about that as well. So
Okay, so
yeah,
there is
so
a
it and
connection there.
does show up a little bit in kind of the Curse of Michael Myers and so forth. And yeah, I always wonder, like, when did Michael go back to the school? He drove by,
Yeah.
Tommy Doyle. Um, and then at some point, he's catching up with Laurie or whatever. So he's just like, I gotta get back to that classroom. And he
Right, yeah, I
writes,
thought the school was out of place. It was
I
an
need to write
unnecessary scene.
Sam Hain. So this is where, and I know a lot of people don't appreciate Halloween 6, but in my mind, I like the thoughts where somebody from Smith's Road came in and created that to kind of create some more issues. So
Yeah,
where say it
good
wasn't really
call.
Michael Myers, somebody else came in and did that and somehow found a big knife and put it in a sister
Right,
coloring. Yeah, it's like I just imagine like Michael was like searching, like does nobody have a family with a sister? What is he searching through the kids' homework?
right, yeah. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
if you really think about the details behind that, it's very out of place.
yeah.
But it's interesting. Um, so Sam Hain and I forget what I was gonna say. It must have been really fantastic though, Robert.
It was. So I
Oh,
don't know if
my
Dana.
favorite part in the
Go ahead.
movie, I might have said this before, but when he, the kid's walking and he jumps into him and they're like, June! And then the music starts and he keeps
Mhm.
walking and he's walking through the townsfolk and the police car passes and they see the hospital
Yeah.
and then he keeps walking. I've always loved that scene. But I've never noticed before the people walking behind him. There's one of the extras is walking in a group of three,
The
and she's
hopper.
jumping up
Yep.
very awkwardly, and you're like,
Fans
nobody
recreate
walks that way.
fans recreate that hop. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So that's obviously Sierra Madre. So we talked about the
Right.
boombox boy scene, which I sat
Yeah.
on Boombox's lap on the way to the Rialto to see Halloween on the big screen 20 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
I didn't realize it until I got out of the car, but yeah. So fans do recreate that
The
um,
hopper.
the hopper as they kind of go by. So.
Oh, it's so
Um,
great.
and a week from now, I will be in Sierra Madre
Yes.
doing some tours,
St. Mary. That's so cool. Or
looking out,
Mother
looking
Mountain.
out, looking out for bears.
Looking out for bears.
It
Final
did.
thing.
I'm kind of worried because uh, on the Friday we're doing day tours, which should be fine, and then Sunday night they're doing another Tom Atkins. Have a drink with Tom Atkins at the Buccaneer Bar. So
Oh,
usually
that's cool.
I do some night tours. I'm like, I don't know if that's such a good idea anymore. If bears are running around,
Nah, you'll be fine.
possibly in the dark. Yeah.
Yeah, you're all right.
But
You'll be
for the
fine.
Dana Carvey scene, so you may notice that there's also that blonde reporter that seems to be prominent in a couple scenes, and you're not quite sure, and then you never see her again. But her scene was her death. She was also supposed to be killed, and her death was either nobody quite knows if it was actually filmed. Some people think it was, some people wasn't, but
Oh.
she was supposed to be killed by Michael Myers
Yeah,
as
because she
well.
did have prominent placement.
Yeah, and when Sheriff Hunt and Dr. Loomis are talking, she's doing that in the background, like she's just kind of there. And one, it looks like a bad extra staring at the camera. But yeah,
Wait, I got to remember to look for that.
yeah,
So when Sheriff Hunt and Loomis are talking,
yeah. So her first scene, like she's talking to Dana Carvey, and she goes, yeah,
right?
if you can't get a release, get a quote anyway." And
Yeah,
then Dana Carvey's like, "Uh huh," and then and
right.
then she goes up to the sheriff. He's like, "Not now," and then she kind of disappears, and he sees his dead daughter. Then they're like, and then Hunt or whatever talking, and she's kind of in the background, and they're like, "Can you get them back?" And she's just kind of pretending not to pay attention. So she was more or
Oh,
less supposed
okay.
to start driving to the hospital, and then uh, she has a flat tire or something, and then somebody's trying to stop to help her, and she doesn't trust him, and so she kind of shoos him away or something like that. And then Michael Myers is there and kills her. Like so. So
Oh,
could have been a
wow.
decent scene. Like if
Robert
there's
knows best.
so somewhere I don't know if it was actually filmed or not. There's never been any shots that
No
I've seen.
leaked footage.
So but it'd be nice
I'm not
to
even.
see what that would be.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool. I'm not even gonna touch the hospital about how it's like dark and there's nobody in a hospital. I'm just gonna let that go. I chalk it up to being the 80s, you know, or the 70s.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Who cares?
Final thing I wanted to bring up, which is really cool, is I was Googling something about Halloween 2. I forget what it was. And I clicked on the images. I was looking for something. And this image I posted here of Robert's page showed up on Google Images like in the first 7 squares. And I was like, I know this guy. But it was really cool. And it wasn't Halloween 2 like filming locations or anything. It was like Halloween 2 something.
Yeah.
And your page, the SEO and everything popped in. So
just popped up. So
great job. And
so it's a picture of the Doyle house.
Yeah.
So as fans know, in the movie he goes out the back, and in the they kind of retconned it in Halloween 2 that he falls out the front, and it's quite obvious he's going up a ramp and then falls off, and he's shot 7 times instead of 6. But
Oh yeah. Right.
But so sadly, fans have been posting pictures. The entire back of the Doyle house has now been taken off, and everything's gone.
Really?
The closet. See, yeah. So any chance of ever seeing those original inside locations are gone forever. So.
Oh,
Sad,
that's terrible. That is sad. That's what I've been watching. I love Halloween 2. Anything between, you know, the CCTV shots that they have and the characters. You like Halloween 2, right?
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
after, I think when I was younger, before I saw Halloween. No, I think I saw Halloween, and I was still too scared of movies. But then I remember one night, I was like, well, maybe I'll watch it, whatever. And I remember Mr. Sandman started playing. It said Haddonfield 1978, and you saw the trees, and it started panning down on this exact shot that we're looking at, and you could hear Laurie's like, I want you to go to the Becker, yeah, and I was like, nope, and I like turned it off. I like ran. That's all I saw of Halloween 2 for
That
years.
was it. You're like, can't do it. Nope.
I
Nope.
couldn't do it. It's too much for me.
Yeah. No, of course. It takes a lot. As a kid, come on. It is a classic. But I'm so glad that you love that and you covered it. So that's what you've been watching.